Oh, oh, damn, looks like I'm about a few days too late on this. Okay, let's get it going. Since the early 90s, as fighting games were taking off with new and powerful graphics, one of the big companies reigned supreme, with Capcom releasing anything in the 2 to 3D space, and ultimately culminating with an East meets West mashup that is the Capcom vs. series, with crossing over with Marvel properties, starting with X-Men vs. Street Fighter. As they were two solo fighting before, and then it grew and grew, never mind. But around the same time as Infinite's release, it was usurped by a magnanimous hyper fighter that literally knocked the socks off of everyone. Dragon Ball FighterZ, by famed developer ArcSys Works. Developer of Sengoku Basara, BlazBlue, and Guilty Gear, and pretty stylized 2D fighters. With Dragon Ball FighterZ shadowing MVCI, it was probably assumed that ASW secretly approached Marvel and stated, "Lose the zeros, get with the heroes." Heroes? Not that I'm saying Capcom are zeros, but you get the gist. And in this recent state of play with various excitements of upcoming games, one of many stuck out with this surprise announcement. And my mind was blown. At first I mistook it for a Marvel rival-styled fighter with various stylized or over-designed elements, but it was its own thing with an Arc System-style flair, and I am peaked. Needless to say that I wasn't the only one with lines of video expressing their thrilling excitement for the development in this game. And with the behind-the-scenes development of this as well, which makes you appreciate the process all the while. Want to know the best part about all this is? We're getting this in the here and now and not the 2010s. Because this would have been heavily diluted with sterile, repetitive MCU synergy and excluding certain characters due to movie rights and offering extremely minimalist designs, dull AAA style with no room for effort back then. No thanks to Perlmutter and Loeb. From back then, thankfully it's much better now. Anyway, there's so much teasing as Eastern renditions of Marvel characters in an official property aren't new. But we're wrapping this up to 11 as we're getting Gundam-styled Iron Man, which makes that one scene in What If more relevant.
Wow. Bold design choice.
What? I like anime.
Worst case scenario, we'll end up with the world's most expensive Gundam model.
Anyway, with Storm appearing, Miss Marvel, and Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes, I do know that his co-creator Felipe Smith is elated, and I should know. I've been following his work since 2008 and met back with him a few times. Moving on, the frenetic flow and background Easter eggs all shows a seemingly futuristic styled New York. One shot that sells this is the face shot at the end of the trailer with Cap and Iron Man facing off, akin to the Captain America Civil War poster that's gonna be 10 years old at the time of this game's release. What a time, since things are expanding since then in the world of Marvel games and varying variety. Speaking which, DC's character designs in Injustice. I imagine if they weren't limited to the realistic AAA designs and would get the Arc System treatment, what would that fare out? And since DC and Marvel announced a first crossover in a long time with the upcoming Batman and Deadpool crossover, where that can go from there. Anyway, seeing how open and excitable the process of developing something such as this, and that Marvel gave ASW complete creative control, wanting the characters to go all anime in this look and feel, gives it much credence as it led on. And I hope more of that follows through, since I absolutely refuse to play MCI. The successor is all I need. But never say never, since in the in-between years of MVC 2 to 3, various Marvel solo fighters were released as well as Contest of Champions releasing on mobile between 3 and Infinite. So we may get a proper 4 down the line, and plus, there's Galactic Storm that was released in the mid-90s along with the Capcom Versus stuff. Anyway, only time can tell what the reception of the game is, and I'm looking forward to what's next with various roster constructions from various channels. I want to give it a go as to not copy what's there and about, but that is until next time. Friends, later.